Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie Esther here. And if you're familiar with my video content, you may remember that a couple of weeks ago I presented this theory video to you about the Nightmare on Elm Street license and how it was my belief that with the impending crossplay between a couple of platforms that it meant that we would most likely see Freddy Krueger appear on the Nintendo Switch, where he is noticeably absent, as well as a couple of other things such as a potential Quentin face rework. Now, if you haven't seen this video, I'll tag it on the end of this one, and you can go back and watch that one as well. But you may remember, if you have seen it, that I presented some flimsy evidence, such as the Dead by Daylight Work From Home Spotify playlist, and these 4 songs as some of the evidence that led me to believe that we would see the opening of the Nightmare on Elm Street license on all platforms where it is missing for Dead by Daylight. Today, I'm going to present you with some evidence that is possibly even flimsier. Tinfoil hats at the ready. Here we go. So as I said, the Nightmare on Elm Street DLC is not available on the Nintendo Switch. My other video talks about my theories and reasons why that is, but the fact is it isn't available up to this point. They do, however, have Quentin Smith's perks and Freddy Krueger's perks among the general pool, and they've even changed the icons. For example, the fire up has just a man without a fedora standing in the fire on the icon to make them generalized. But the only way you could ever get these perks is on the Shrine of Secrets. As recently as July 30th, we see a plea from the Nintendo Switch community saying, why do we have to wait for these perks to appear in the Shrine? Why can't they just naturally appear on bloodwebs, since they're supposed to be general public perks and not tied to any license? Now we have seen here on as the calendar page turned it over into August, we start to see people who are tagging me on Twitter with images that these perks are now in fact starting to show up in their bloodwebs, and they are marked as the Nightmares perk and as Quentin Smith's perks on their bloodwebs. Now, does the fact that these perks are suddenly showing up on bloodwebs support my theory that the Nightmare on Elm Street DLC is coming to the Switch? I think so, but it could simply be oversight, because I went on my Switch today and went into custom mode, and I looked, and all of the perks are not labeled with the characters' names on custom game mode. It just says very rare perk on them, so it doesn't have the names of the Nightmare or Quentin Smith attached to them the way that I'm seeing in these bloodweb screenshots on Twitter. So is that oversight that they accidentally tagged the names of these characters on the Switch, or does it mean there's a deal in place? And if there is a deal in place, are we one step closer to getting that Quentin Smith face rework that we've wanted for so long? And is Matthew Cote giving us a little wink that yes, indeed we are? And so we've gone over this for months and months, how actor Kyle Gallner, who played Quentin Smith in the 2010 version of the Nightmare on Elm Street, was hearing from fans how displeased they were with Quentin Smith's likeness and how it didn't look like him, and how he was very receptive and all but gave his permission to change it and please make Quentin Smith look more like himself, the actor. And while Matthew Cote was very receptive to the idea, it isn't that simple. They need the license holder's permission, so everything seemed to be at a standstill. But now, with these perks just suddenly starting to show up on bloodwebs tagged with the names of the characters from the chapter, I'm going to share these tweets with you. I'm going to let you decide if this is a wink by Matthew Cote that things are happening. And here on August 4th, Kyle Gallner puts out this tweet, very innocent. He just plainly says, I'm just going to say it, I love gardening. Doesn't seem to really be anything to that at all, other than him describing his hobbies and how he spends his free time to relax. However, Matthew Cote puts out a tweet of his own, not in reply to Kyle, totally aside on his own account, less than 2 hours later, which says, what's the most unusual reason one could have for gardening? So I don't know. Perhaps it's purely coincidental that they're both discussing gardening within 2 hours of one another. And I'll remind you that Freddy Krueger was the gardener at the preschool. So I don't know if it's a setup, if it's a wink, or if it's purely coincidental. But it does seem extremely coincidental then Matthew's just bringing up gardening out of the blue less than 2 hours after Kyle does. I do think it's a wink to say, hey, we got the Quentin face rework coming, without saying, hey, we got the Quentin face rework coming. It could be completely innocent and not related to that at all. Like I said, get the chin strap going on your tinfoil hat here. Strap that tinfoil hat down real tight on this one, right? I don't know. What do you think? So I certainly do hope that the Quentin Smith face rework is coming, as well as a slew of other things for the Freddy chapter. Again, watch my other video if you want to see more about that and what it could be. I think the unification of the Freddy license across all platforms would just be wonderful. I really hope that that's what's in the works and what all of this means. And I do want to thank the half a dozen or so people who made sure that I didn't miss these tweets here. Most notably, I think Poppy Quentin was the one who packaged it all up for me with the bow on top. So thanks to Poppy Quentin. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Is this more evidence or just more craziness delivered to you by yours truly, Paulie Esther? Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of each other in and out of the fog. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.